People do.
All right, I got one for Snow. He said he's not going to fire anybody on this pod, so we're not going to ask him to fire anybody. But we are going to ask him 2 questions in the Big Ten on coaches that in the last few days here, in the last 48 hours, their fan bases are ready to be done with them. And I like both guys a lot as human beings, Richard Pitino and Archie Miller. You know Arch well. I know Arch well. We both defended Arch. We both thought it was a really good hire when they hired him. Really good hire. Good ball coach. Indiana's kind of had it with him. Are you a believer that he can get this flipped and get Indiana to where, because ultimately for Indiana fans, they're probably a little bit delusional. But what Indiana should be, Snow, is a team that is in the NCAA tournament 5 out of every 6 years, right? They might have that one outlier season where something happens or they lose guys early or whatever. But for the most part, you're in Indiana. You should be in the tournament just about every year, shouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so. And I think Arch would be the first to tell you he hasn't won enough. Right. I do. Me too. Now, the Indiana fan base, they're a lot. They're absolutely a lot. My only concern when Arch got hired was at Indiana, it's not about being a basketball coach. It's so much more than that. And Archie's a basketball coach.
Yeah.
He like that's him.
He doesn't want to kiss babies. He doesn't want to kiss babies. He doesn't want to talk to boosters. He doesn't want to deal with the media unless it's my daughter. And then I think he enjoyed doing that Instagram Live. But for the most part, Arch and Sean Miller just want to coach ball, period.
Yeah. So that was my concern. I really genuinely think he can coach.
Yeah, me too.
And I think they have good players on their roster. If you ask me why it hasn't come together this year, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Certain guys have gotten better. Certain guys have regressed. It's been very odd to see. And I have great respect for Arch's ability to coach. And the fact that it's gone the way it has is truly surprising to me.
I thought that the game against Rutgers kind of spoke volumes because once it got bad, the bottom just completely fell out and they could not do anything to turn it around. And I don't know if that's a confidence thing. I don't know if that is that they've kind of checked out and they don't care as much. I don't know if that's something where they're just not. I don't know. But to me, if you go on the road and you get up 15 points and you blow that entire lead in the span of what was it, 8 minutes, and then you lose by double figures, that says a lot about where you are kind of as a team. So I think there's probably a lot of frustration going on in that locker room. And I mean, it like you said, when you have someone like a Trace Jackson Davis with a couple guys that can make plays around him, you should be better than 12-11 at this point.
Yeah. And Armand Franklin's a really good player.
Mm-hmm.
Race Thompson's a solid Big Ten starter.
Al Brown's good. He's better than I thought he was going to be when he got there.
Yeah.
They're missing one guard. They're missing a wing or a guard, a big time.
They need another guard Christian Lander. He's going to be a really good player. Right. He's not ready right now. He should people make a big deal. Some kids reclassing because Goodman in New England, you guys do high school for 7 years or something. Yeah, and then you just kind of choose when you want to go to college. Here in the Midwest, it's typically a 4-year program. He legitimately was in high school for 3 years.
Right.
He's just not ready for the Big Ten right now, which is fine. But they need him to.
Richard Pitino. Hey, Richard Pitino, before we move on to tonight or this weekend, he's been there a while. I feel like he always takes a step back and then forward, and then he'll take one step back. And, I think, honestly, if he can get a job like Boston College, and I don't know if the Pitino name can allow him to get a job in Boston, but if he could, I think he should take it. Minnesota's one of those jobs that everybody talks about as a sleeper job, but and they do have talent in their state. The problem is they have a lot of elite talent that they're not going to be able to keep. You can't beat Duke for Tyus or Trey Jones.
I see where you're going, Jeff. I disagree with you 100%.
You're not beating Duke, not Minnesota.
No, you don't need to.
Well, you got to get the next tier.
Yeah, and there's a ton of them. McKinley Wright, Dawson Garcia.
Yep.
half of Brad Davison, like half of Iowa, half of Wisconsin's team. Like you didn't get JP McCura. Like, okay, you're not going to get Rashad Vaughn. That's fine. Get JP McCura.
Right.
Like.
Yep. No, there's a lot of players in that state. A lot more than people think.
Yeah, you're not going to get Tyus Jones. That's fine. Get McKinley Wright.
Right.
I was actually, Borzello and I were talking about this. And like, if you look at like kind of like that 4-star range of player that they're realistically outside of one class where they got Daniel Oturu and Gabe Kalsher, that they've gone like 0 for 12 on. If you just put that group together,
they're terrific.
You have a good Big Ten team.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. No, listen, I think honestly, his time is coming to an end here. I do at Minnesota. I just think it's probably best for all involved at this point. They're probably not going to make the tournament now.
If Minnesota comes open, is it the best job that'll come open this cycle?
No. I think Arizona might come open. I think LSU could come open. Now they may be later in the cycle. They may not be in 3 weeks, but Minnesota is probably the best early one that comes open. Unless, like, do you consider Iowa State better than Minnesota?
No.
I mean, the fan base there is pretty good, but Minnesota's better talent-wise. Obviously, there's no talent in Iowa.
You're in Minneapolis. Like,
yeah, cool state. I mean, listen, Minnesota. I can't imagine, again, unless an Arizona, Kansas, something of that ilk pops. I don't know DePaul. I mean, I don't think DePaul's certainly not better than Minnesota. Yeah. I think Minnesota's probably the best one unless something crazy happens.